Have you ever noticed how two people can start the same day in completely different ways? One full of energy, focus, and momentum, while the other is groggy, distracted, and already stressed before breakfast. The difference isn't intelligence, luck, or even discipline. Neuroscientists have discovered that the first few hours after waking are when your brain is most plastic, meaning it's most open to being rewired. In other words, your morning routine can literally shape your brain for success or failure. In this video, we'll break down 8 simple but powerful morning habits backed by science and real-world stories of high performers, from CEOs and athletes to everyday people who transformed their lives by changing their mornings. Stick around, subscribe, and share this video to friends and family, because you'll not only learn what these habits are, but also why they work and how you can use them to rewire your brain for lasting success. Habit 1. Mindful wake up. How do you start your mornings? For many people, the first thing they do is grab their phone. Notifications, social media, news alerts, all of them start flooding your brain before you've even taken a deep breath. The problem? This hijacks your dopamine system right from the start. You go into reactive mode instead of proactive mode, and your brain gets addicted to tiny hits of stimulation. Neuroscientists call this attention residue. Every time you check your phone, your brain lingers on those micro-distractions, making it harder to focus later. Instead, successful people practice a mindful wake-up. That means giving yourself a few minutes of quiet before the world comes rushing in. It could be as simple as 3 deep breaths while sitting on the edge of your bed, scanning your body, and mentally saying, "Today, I begin with calm and clarity." Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, is a huge advocate of this. After collapsing from exhaustion years ago, she rebuilt her morning routine. She now avoids her phone for the first hour and spends those moments in reflection and gratitude. Navy SEAL Jocko Willink emphasizes waking with discipline, but not distraction. He photographs his watch every morning at 4:30 a.m. A young lawyer in New York who switched from doom scrolling to 5 minutes of gratitude meditation, reporting low anxiety and higher focus at work. Imagine 2 mornings. In the first, your alarm rings, you roll over, and instantly scroll through bad news on social media. Your brain floods with cortisol and dopamine. In the second, you sit up, breathe deeply, and take 1 minute to focus on gratitude. By 9 a.m., the difference in mood and decision-making is already measurable. Habit 2. Hydrate immediately after waking. Think about it, you've just gone 6, 7, maybe 8 hours without water. Your body is dehydrated, and so is your brain. And since your brain is made up of about 75% water, even mild dehydration slows down cognitive function, reduces alertness, and can cause brain fog. That's why one of the simplest yet most powerful habits is to hydrate first thing in the morning. A tall glass of water replenishes your system, kickstarts your metabolism, and flushes out toxins. You can supercharge this habit by adding a squeeze of lemon, a pinch of Himalayan salt, or even electrolytes. This restores essential minerals and helps your body absorb water more effectively. Kobe Bryant, the late basketball legend, was known for starting his mornings with hydration and stretching, fueling both body and brain before his intense workouts. Science backs this up. A study from the Journal of Nutrition found that even 1 to 2% dehydration significantly impairs memory and concentration. But when participants hydrated properly, their performance bounced back almost immediately. So, here's the takeaway. Before you check emails, before you sip coffee, drink water. It's the easiest brain upgrade you'll ever do. Habit 3. Move your body. Exercise is one of the most reliable brain hacks known to science. And here's the key. It doesn't have to be a full gym workout. Even just 5 to 15 minutes of movement in the morning can completely transform how your brain functions. When you move, your body releases endorphins and dopamine, chemicals that lift your mood and sharpen focus. Even more importantly, exercise boosts BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for the brain. It helps grow new neurons and strengthen existing connections. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group, credits his morning workouts for doubling his productivity. He once said that if he didn't exercise in the morning, he wouldn't get nearly as much done in business. You don't need hours at the gym. Start with simple habits. Times 20 push-ups after brushing your teeth. Times a 10-minute yoga flow. Times a brisk walk outside while listening to an audiobook. Science shows that just 20 minutes of moderate exercise can increase memory and attention span for the next several hours. So, whether it's stretching, jogging, or even dancing around your room, morning movement isn't just about fitness, it's about priming your brain for success. Habit 4. Journaling with purpose, one of the most underrated success habits, is journaling. But not just any journaling, purposeful journaling. Why? Because writing things down engages both hemispheres of the brain. The logical left brain organizes thoughts into words, while the creative right brain expresses emotions and ideas. Together, journaling creates clarity and lowers stress. Oprah Winfrey has said that gratitude journaling is the single most important thing she's ever done. Every morning, she writes down 3 things she's grateful for. This simple act shifts her brain's focus from scarcity to abundance. You don't need to spend 30 minutes writing pages of reflections. A structured approach works wonders. Times right. 3 things you're grateful for. Times write 1 intention for the day. Times write 1 affirmation, a positive statement about yourself. For example, times gratitude. I'm grateful for my health, my supportive family, and the opportunity to learn. Times intention. Today I will stay calm and focused, even during stress. Times affirmation. I am capable of handling challenges with strength and clarity. Psychologists have found that journaling reduces anxiety, boosts optimism, and improves problem-solving skills. Think of it as installing new software into your brain each morning, programming it to focus on gratitude, clarity, and growth instead of stress. Habit 5. Feed your brain with positive inputs. What's the very first information you give your brain each morning? For many, it's social media, TV, or the news. Unfortunately, negative inputs at the start of the day wire your brain for stress, distraction, and fear. Instead, the most successful people deliberately feed their brain high-quality information. That might be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or watching a motivational talk. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, spends up to 80% of his mornings reading. He says knowledge compounds like interest, and feeding your brain daily is the key to long-term success. You don't need to read for hours. Even 10 pages of a book or 15 minutes of an audiobook can change your mental state. For example, reading a chapter of Atomic Habits by James Clear in the morning could inspire you to build better routines. Here's the science. When you wake up, your brain is in a highly plastic state. This means it's more impressionable and more likely to absorb information deeply. By choosing positive inputs instead of negativity, you're wiring your brain for growth, learning, and resilience. Do so tomorrow, before you scroll through Instagram. Pick up a book, put on a podcast, or watch an inspiring video. Your brain will thank you for the rest of the day. Habit 6. Intentional daily planning. Most people wake up and let the day happen to them. Emails, texts, random distractions, they all dictate the flow. But highly successful people flip the script. They decide in the morning what truly matters and let everything else fit around that. This habit is about taking 5 to 10 minutes to design your day. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important tasks I must accomplish today? Write them down. When you do this, you're telling your brain where to direct its limited energy and focus. The science here is fascinating. Our brains can only make so many quality decisions each day before decision fatigue sets in. Psychologists have shown that willpower and decision-making ability operate like a muscle. The more you use them without rest, the weaker they get. That's why many world leaders and entrepreneurs simplify other areas of life. Steve Jobs wore the same style of black turtleneck daily, and Barack Obama limited his wardrobe choices, all to preserve mental energy for high-stakes decisions. Benjamin Franklin famously practiced morning planning. In his daily schedule, he asked himself a single morning question: what good shall I do today? That reflection anchored his entire day. A modern tool you can use is the Eisenhower matrix. Divide tasks into 4 quadrants: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. Focus your mornings on the important but not urgent category, because that's where long-term growth happens. With intentional planning, you're no longer reacting to the world, you're proactively creating it. Habit 7. Eat a nutrient-dense breakfast. Let's talk about breakfast. For years, people debated whether it's the most important meal of the day. But here's the truth. What you eat in the morning doesn't just fuel your body. It rewires your brain chemistry for the rest of the day. If you start with a sugar-filled breakfast, think donuts, sweetened cereal, or pastries, your blood sugar spikes. And within a couple of hours, it crashes. That crash doesn't just make you tired. It also impairs your brain's ability to focus, regulate mood, and make decisions. In fact, neuroscientists have found that fluctuating blood sugar levels are directly linked to lower willpower and poor impulse control. On the other hand, a nutrient-dense breakfast, one that includes protein, healthy fats, and slow digesting carbs stabilizes your glucose levels. This means your brain gets a steady supply of energy instead of a roller coaster ride. Foods like eggs, oatmeal, chia seed pudding, Greek yogurt, or even a smoothie with spinach, nuts, and berries provide exactly what your brain craves. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Body and Tools of Titans, swears by what he calls the 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up rule. He credits this with sharper focus and more consistent energy throughout the day. Similarly, Serena Williams and other athletes often begin with high protein, low sugar breakfasts to set their mental and physical performance on the right track. So, if you want your brain to fire at peak performance, ditch the glazed donut and start your morning with fuel that lasts. Recap all 7 habits, reinforce neuroplasticity concept. Mornings literally wire your brain. Inspirational closer. The world's most successful people don't all share the same background, education, or luck, but they all share intentional mornings. Start tomorrow differently and watch your brain and your life transform. Habit 8. Practice intentional affirmations and positive self-talk. The way you talk to yourself in the morning shapes the way you see yourself all day. Neuroscience tells us that repeated thoughts create neural pathways. The more you repeat them, the stronger they become. This is why intentional affirmations are such a powerful tool to rewire your brain for success. Instead of letting your mind default to stress, I'm tired, today's going to be tough, I can't do this, you deliberately replace those thoughts with empowering scripts. I am capable. I am focused. I attract solutions. Today, I will move closer to my goals. Now, some people dismiss affirmations as woo-woo, but science backs them up. A 2016 study published in Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience showed that self-affirmations activate the brain's reward centers, boosting resilience against stress. Another study from Carnegie Mellon University found that affirmations improved problem-solving under pressure. Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest practitioners of affirmations. Long before he became a boxing champion, he declared, "I am the greatest." He repeated it so often that it became his reality. His words reshaped not only his own belief, but also the belief of millions who heard him. Here's a practical way to do it. Write down 3 to 5 affirmations that resonate with your goals. Stand in front of a mirror, say them aloud with energy, and visualize yourself embodying them. It may feel strange at first, but over time, you'll notice your self-image and confidence aligning with those affirmations. Your self-talk is the most powerful conversation you'll have all day. Make sure it's one that lifts you up, not drags you down. Let's quickly recap the 8 habits that can rewire your brain for success. Mindful wake-up hydration immediately after waking up. Morning movement journaling with purpose. Feed your brain with positive inputs. Intentional daily planning. Eat a nutrient-dense breakfast. Affirmations and self-talk. Remember, you don't have to do all 8 at once. Start with 1 or 2 and build from there. Each habit is like a brick, and over time, they build the foundation for the life you want.